Hola, amigos and señoritas. That's about as much Spanish as I know. Episode 211. We are back. Last week I had to work late, a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. So, and Joe stepped in there. It was all by his lonesome and ran his show. So appreciate you there, Joe, for keeping the seats warm for us.
Why the fuck?
What?
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 Nothing.
You okay, buddy?
I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm drinking a little Arrogant Bastard ale tonight.
I love Arrogant Bastard beer. That is a good choice. I'm sipping down some Smart Mouth, and I am drinking their
that sounds
Holiday
relevant.
Helper Indian Pale Ale. And they got the little Santa Claus thingy on there. You remember when he had to melt? I laughed during
Snowman?
Yeah,
the snowman,
yeah.
Frosty the Snowman. I am Turkey McStuffin tonight just because we're not going to have an episode, or it's our last episode before Thanksgiving. So here in Oregon, no, we've been ordered to not really have a Thanksgiving. We're no more than 6 people from 2 different households. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. Yeah, that's the governor's rule.
Like, people are really doing that? Oh.
I don't know. I don't think people are really doing it.
I don't think your governor understands that we live in America and we can do what we want.
America, bitch. Yeah, that's what I basically said. I'm not listening to your garbage rules
all day.
Are you really?
I am. Little does he know.
You're going to go over and stuff his turkey?
If it needs stuffing, I will stuff
it. Right in his mouth.
And then he could stuff my spider hole.
Wow. We're going some craziness tonight. So what have I been doing over this past week other than work? I'm all caught up on Mandalorian, of course. I usually watch it after the show on Friday night because I don't get a chance to watch it before. I got to work. Let me get home to get ready for this thing. What else did I watch? I know I've watched a few movies and stuff. I know I finished up Hellstrom. Finished up that.
What did you think of it?
That was good. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Right? It's kind of slow. It's a slow burn.
Yeah, it definitely is. God, what other movie? I know I watched some movies, but I can't remember what I watched. Damn it! I tried watching some '80s movies, Creepshow 2, and I was like, oh my god, it was so horrible. Just the acting in there. Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride. I don't know. You've seen that in a long time. And some other crappy 80s movies. Oh, I watched Expendables too.
Again. Oh, yeah.
It's
on Amazon and Hulu. Yeah.
I think that's it. I did see Tenet. I don't know if I've talked to you since then.
Was that movie good?
Yeah. If you like his other movies, like what's the name with Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's like a time.
The movie about sleeping, about dreaming, about
yeah. If you like Inception, you like Tenet, I think. So it's got a lot of the same lines. So, but that's basically me in a nutshell. What about you, Joe? What have you been doing?
I have not watched tonight's episode of Mandalorian, but man, the last episode, the whole eating the frogs, and I'll go ahead and say it, even though I know it's been a Twitter storm lately. I agree. If women wear armor, it needs to be form-fitting to them. It has to be. It's not an option.
Was there a Twitter storm about that? Armor not fitting? I didn't read it.
Stuff about the booby armor, and historically, it's actually correct to form-fit it. And I'll take some time and I'll explain how armor works later. But it has to do that. You can't just make a big bubble in front of somebody because it won't. Anyway, so yeah, that's been a whole Twitter storm thing lately. So I've laughed at it because people are stupid. But the show was great, and I love the how in depth we're going. Like, I'm not like deep into Star Wars lore, mythos, and all that. It's just too much for me. So I didn't realize that like the Mandalorians had like branches to it. It's like a beautiful tree. So that was really cool to kind of find out. And then, Baby Yoda committing genocide. That was awesome.
I told you guys a long time ago. He's an evil motherfucker. He is an evil.
I've got all caught up in Hellstorm or Storm 2. Love that. Look, if you're wanting it to be like the comic book, that's just not going to happen. But it is in its own right good. I've gotten caught up on Swamp Thing as well. I know most of you guys have already watched the Swamp Thing, but I've been catching it on the CW. Been enjoying that as well. The whole Blue Devil aspect of it. Like I thought that would come off cheesy, but it's actually coming off kind of creepy and weird. So I'm digging that. Late night because I've been having some trouble sleeping. I've watched Porky's 2, Porky's Revenge. I haven't been sleeping much at night. And I watched a Cheech and Chong movie from when they tried to make movies themselves, and they were just absolutely horrible. But this week I've been kind of heavy on the TV because I've been having some problems with my shoulder and my neck, so I've been up at night because I can't sleep on painkillers. So I've just been watching television, dumbingly staring at it. So yeah. Legion of Comics just watched New Mutants and the new Mandalorian. Me and Mikey, we went and saw New Mutants. My take on it was, I was like, it's an interesting movie. I'm not taking that away, but I was like,
I could have wrote a better New Mutants fucking story.
That's weird because usually he's the nice one. I just want to point that out.
I like Magic in it, and I like a couple other characters, but yeah.
I'm trying to figure out this.
Mikey, what did you see this week? What have you been watching?
Well, I've been watching my festering spider bite on my leg get smaller.
Nice.
No, I did you see on the Disney Channel or whatever the fuck it's called? They had the Marvel 616.
I haven't watched it yet. I saw it.
Yeah, I saw that today too when I was looking for the new episode of The Mandalorian and started watching the first episode, which focuses on the Japanese Spider-Man.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that kind of animate. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where he turns into the giant robot. How that came about. So it seems like a pretty interesting show. I don't know what the other episodes are going to be about, but I'm going to check that out. I have still been playing Breath of the Wild, Zelda, over there on the Switch. I did buy while I was on my Spider Bite hiatus. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I love killing Christians. I love killing Christians.
Wow.
If you like the previous two Assassin's Creeds, you're going to like this one. It's the same thing, just set in the Viking world. So.
One thing I did want to add to what else I've been doing, I go on the GNX Grownups Discord channel. They have live gaming, so I go and play Jackbox games and stuff like that. So that's been pretty fun to hang out with those guys and play games with them. So what are you laughing at over there, Joe? Just here.
Nothing, boss.
Just digging it up over here, boss. Sorry, it caught me off the guard. Who said that? Was that Double S that said that? Here's Dragon Joey from last week. I heard something about a dragon. Okay, let's get into the book. Let's
Dave's been drinking, so
let's start with Marvel books, Joe. We'll give us a Marvel book.
Oh, you want me to start now? Should I go ahead and do the whole Exoswords bashing now, or should I wait?
Oh, have at it, man. Have Exoswords bash time. Go ahead, bash it up.
I know why you came, folks. So I don't know if y'all remember last week when I was doing the show by myself, or if you caught it on the rewind, about how I said it was an incoherent mess. So we were like, okay, well, let's see what happens next week. So another 3 books come out. Anybody want to take a guess what happened? It's an incoherent mess. It's so bad. It is so bad. But I have dedicated myself to our loyal fans like Double S, who, by the way, his name is SS, which is very German. May want to change that.
That's boot.
And Legion of Comics. Again, another name that could be referenced in a very different way. I'm messing with you guys. I'm glad
you're calling all of our watchers racist. Now I see how it is.
So check it out. What happened in this? So we read a bunch of crap and we find out that, hey, imagine this. A kid, even though he thinks he's a warrior, has feelings, and there are things that will make him freeze up in certain situations, like killing somebody that maybe shouldn't be killed. That happened because he wanted to spare the wife of his friend who had to get married. Remember that when that was a competition, when Cypher and Blood Moon, like they had to get married, and that was a competition because that's basically what marriage is, a competition. It's a great way to look at marriage. You'll go very far. So
I love you more.
Right? Cable has to battle Blood Moon. And he's like, wait a second, this is my friend's best wife. And, she gets the upper hand. And then the White Witch is like, oh, well, I guess, death of the spirit is just as bad as to the death. No. Hickman, no. You're this close to being a Coates. And we'll talk about Coates later when I trash Captain America.
Did you say cunt?
No,
that sounded like that to me too.
I am hyped up on painkillers and alcohol, and I'm just feeling really good. So let's just flow with this. So, so there's the big highlight of that one. That was the big battle, and then how he deals with it, and how he had to go mind fuck mom and dad about the whole entire thing, and it was just absolutely horrible. And then we finally get to the big finale. The two people who have not competed in this competition whatsoever. We finally get to that. But I do want to backtrack for 1 second. I want to mention this one other thing. So Gorgon finally has to fight, and he has to fight the White Sword. Now, I like Gorgon, and I like this White Sword character. I thought it was really cool. So apparently, whenever the White Sword kills somebody, that person's embodiment, spirit, whatever you want to call it, he could take that in and use that kind of spiritual being to fight people. So this is where things got interesting. So the otherworldlies and the X-Men, basically the score is like 18-3. Keep that in your head for a second. Oh, mind you, anybody that dies in this world cannot be reincarnated through the hocus pocus of the golden ball guy. That can't happen here. So Gorgon goes out there and he's fighting the guy, and the guy's like, you're going to have to fight all 100 of the spirits I keep inside of me. Right? So he starts shooting out these like spirits with these swords, and Gorgon's like just killing it. I love Gorgon. Great. He's just hacking, chopping, slicing, and dicing. But what happened is the White Witch, because we, the readers, don't understand this competition in any way, shape, or form, every time he kills one of the spirits, it counts as a point for the X-Men team. So it goes like all the way up to where legitimately they're a point ahead. Out of nowhere. So finally, the team from the old world are like, dude, stop screwing around. Kill this guy. Well, Gorgon's so worn out from this at this point that literally the White Sword goes up, and I thought this was a total, I'll say it, bitch move. This is some bitch shit. Goes right up and just kind of sticks the sword in him. Like it wasn't even epic. No swing, taking off a head, no slicing or dicing. Just like the way you would stab butter. Gorgon falls and dies. And I was like, really, after all that's the big epic killing of Gorgon. Good job. Good job, Marvel. Good job, Hickman. I hate if the community will release me from my promise from this, I will happily drop this book. But I made I promise.
You only got 3 more or 1 more.
No. Here's the weird thing, right? So we're down to the last competition. I'm glad you said that, because here's where it is. So I picked up 17, 18, and 19. There's 22 books in this.
3 more.
We're on the last battle. What is exact? Oh, and the Hellion thing. The Hellion had nothing to do with the entire Sword of X thing. It was all about Sinister going to get some genes, and we meet a new team of D-list characters that are going to make the quarter bin here in the next year, and that we'll generally forget about because he wanted the genes from these people because that's Sinister's thing. Also, capes. Capes are his thing. That was a big thing in that comic book. I wish I was making this up. Yeah. Anybody else?
Levi's, like Levi's jeans? He's talking about capes.
No, like DNA.
No, okay. Now, I did not read that. I have not been picking up X-Men or anything Swords of X at all. I've been distancing myself from them. And it's hard because I'm a completist too. I like having, like, if I start a book and I like it, and there's something that pops in the storyline that takes me away from the main of that story, I hate, because I want to pick those books up because I want to have 1 through 20 of Wolverine, but I don't care about any of the Swords of X. But yet, so I don't pick them up, and I feel like there's a hole there, and I'm like, crap, what do I do? So I don't pick up Swords of X.
$1.
Yeah, probably that's what I'm gonna have to do. So.
By the way, Double S, don't you ever change your name. We love you for who you are. Don't you ever do that to us.
What do you got for a Marvel book there, Mike? Guy, I think you want to talk about?
I got a couple Marvel books I read. Hold on here. Let me wipe my eyes out because
he's crying.
Spider AIDS. Let's talk about Symbiote Spider-Man #1.
Let's talk about Symbiote Spider-Man #1.
I actually enjoyed this because it was fucking weird. It just threw shit left. Anyway. First we started off in Ravencroft where Alistair Smith, if you're not familiar with him, he is the Spider Slayer dude. Is talking to somebody, blah blah blah. Then the Watcher gets abducted out of nowhere, and then we go to New York where Spider-Man saves a kid. Well, we learn who abducts the Watcher, and that's Kang, because he's going to be in a movie, so they had to throw Kang in here.
I'm glad you said that.
They want to extract. What's up, Jacko? He just popped in here. Kang wants to extract all the knowledge from Utu or whatever the fuck his name is, the Watcher. Ends up overloading his ship and blowing up, and fucking Kang gets tossed into space. Can't this motherfucker teleport to somewhere? He's out there floating in space. Whatever.
Right. Okay.
I guess back in Ravencroft, Alistair is possessed by some kind of symbiote, because he keeps calling Peter Parker brother, blah blah blah. That's weird. At the end, I really like the end though. So Kang's sitting there floating in space. A little spaceship comes back, picks him up, and it's old school Rocket. So this does take place in the past. So Black Knight shows up at the end, saves the day. Where the fuck did he come from? I like this book. It was weird. Some characters we haven't seen, like Black Knight. I guess he was in Empire, but who cares about that? Crazy, weird, unexpected. I'm stashing it. I'm gonna get issue #2.
Now, is this an ongoing series, or is this just like the Swords of X? Is it just kind of like all these titles tying in to the main storyline?
This is its own thing. This has. I didn't think this had anything to do with the King in Black, other than mentioning. Because at the end. Where is it?
Well, there were covers that were kind of hinting at that's being associated with King in Black.
It says to be continued next issue. Rocket Raccoon, Black Knight, Merlin, more guest stars than you could shake a stick at.
Yeah. I think we need to make a new sign. Instead of Whiskey Dick, we need another one that's for Cram Fest. And that's when we cram as many people that are popular right now into one glorious comic book, because they definitely did that here and they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah, I thought Kang's character was almost for comedic portion of the book because as far as I knew, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Kang from his origin and stuff like that way back, and I think he showed up in Silver Age stuff, but yeah, he's more for a comic. Even at the end, when he's floating through space, almost get hit by a rocket ship, he actually has pupils and stuff in his eyes. Well, the rest of the panels, he had no eyes at all, just a blank eye. And I thought, did I see that right? Because I guess that was him shocked he has eyes at that point. Yeah, there was a lot of spec book about the Mr. E thing. I saw a lot of the stuff about that, and I don't know if that's really going to go anywhere. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good book too. It had some weird stuff in there. But you definitely could tell where the symbiote, they see Spider-Man's black suit, so they automatically think he's part of that big universe of the Hive and everything. But Peter Parker doesn't understand that because, again, too, this is way back even before Venom, I'm assuming, because Peter Parker still has the black suit, right? Yeah. So this is happened in the back, and I love Uatu. Is that his name? As the Watcher. Where he's talking about,
Yeah, Uatu.
Uatu. He's talking about where Kang's talking about, I'm gonna pull all of your memories and pull them into my computer. And he's like, fool you! I'm taking every single bit of information you had, and I'm taking it into me.
I didn't know switcheroo because I'm majestic.
So I thought that was a pretty cool exchange between the two characters. So yeah, this is a stash for me.
Double S asked, just wondering, is this just for the King in Black? This has really nothing to do with it. I think what Kang was trying to do, I'm speculating now, is try to prevent something happening in a timeline that the King in Black that's why he was trying to go after the Watcher. So we'll see. I don't know. If it is a tie, I mean, it's a very loose tie-in towards, I mean, it just has King in Black up in the corner. I mean,
yeah, I got a couple different covers for this guy. So everybody in the live chat, they picked this up too this week. And then when you go to Joe for your review of Symbiote Spider-Man #1.
Yeah. So my concern of this is we're going to take this and try to make it an event. And I felt that it was just a little too crammed. Like Spectacular Spider-Grandpa said, it's like Black Knight, Rocket Raccoon, the Watcher, which the Watcher is a narrative plot, right? You can throw him into anything to kind of push a narrative. And then you have Kang. I do agree with Spectacular Spider-Grandpa. I think what's going to happen here is I think we're going to find out that this is really a retcon to a larger story where we're going to get some Kang kind of jumping around and finding it. I think that's really what this is. I was able to get my hands on one of those 1 in 25s because I'm the king of 25, son. But yeah, that was so much better than just the regular covers out there. I went ahead and grabbed that. He did have one of the 100s, and I still liked this better, so I picked this up. So I'm gonna stash this for now. But again, my concern is it's okay to have a lot of heroes into a story, but they have to fit into the story. So we have a bunch of cosmic stuff going on here that is based on Earth, and how does that ultimately translate? And then we know it's going to be, I agree with Spectacular Spider-Grandpa. I think it's all a big retcon, which will just make the story weird at the end of the day. So I'm going to say it's a stash for now.
Is it?
It's a stash.
Okay.
goddamn spider AIDS.
Spider HIV. He's got the spider.
Okay, I'm going to talk. Go ahead, Mike. What are you going to say?
I was answering Double S's question. What do you think of Kang being in the Ant-Man movie? Look, we can barely get Wonder Woman out of this bitch. We ain't never seen an Ant-Man movie.
You know what?
I'd never pictured Kang the Conqueror as, I guess he was a pretty major villain, but I never dug him. So it's not like Thanos.
I don't know. I like Kang the Conqueror. I think there's a lot that can be done there. And I like the fact it makes sense for the Ant-Man movie because, right, time and space and that whole thing, right? Space.
No.
time and space and distance, right, are all the same thing ultimately. So the more you shrink, the more time you. Anyway, it's physics, right? So it makes sense. Other than somebody that just has a machine that can jump around, like Doc from Back to the Future.
Jump around.
So it makes sense.
Jump up, get down. Okay, I'm gonna talk about a Marvel book. I wasn't even gonna pick it up, but I saw the cover and I thought that's a pretty damn awesome cover. And that's the only thing that's even good about this book at all. I didn't even finish reading. I read through the first few pages. I said, screw this. I'm not bothered gonna read any more of it. And that's Indigenous Voices #1.
Oh, you bought that?
I bought the David Mack cover. I thought that was a great cover.
It is a good
cover. But did anybody else read this at all?
I don't feel that I was represented in the comic book, so I didn't feel that I had a voice, nor should I have an opinion on it. Therefore, I did not spend my dirty white man money on it.
Yeah, talk about dirty white man. That talk about don't need no man. I mean, that's basically what this book's all about. I mean, there's some stuff I talk about in Twitter and stuff like that. The art in this book and the dialogue is just absolutely awful, and is everywhere talking about how awful this is.
How many stereotypes were in it?
How many stereotypes?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't read through the whole book, so I couldn't tell you how many stereotypes are in it.
I really want to know how many people, like Native Americans, lived on the reservation, or never got enough. I want to know the stereotypes. Please reread.
How many said how white man?
For both sides, Native Americans, because it seems like whenever they write one of these stories where they need to get a voice out, they generally propel it with some sort of just absolute stereotype of the people that they're trying to give the voice to.
Just like Werewolf by Night, that last one. Yeah. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
In the beginning of that book, isn't there a list of all the Native American characters?
It's not hard to figure out. If it starts with an animal or has thunder in it, it's pretty much Native American.
There you go. That's the area.
I mean, there's some pretty badass characters in that.
Oh,
list.
yeah.
They could have done so much.
There's Kiwazi tribe, Wingfoot, Wyatt Wingfoot, Redfoot, Thunderbird, Shaman, Snowbird, American Eagle, Mirage, Talisman, Black Crow, Warpath, Portal, Forge, Silver Fox, Risque, and Echo.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought he was a one of two opposite. I don't know. He was a milkshake. I thought he was chocolate and vanilla. Like, I don't even know what to do these days.
God, what a racist. What a racist. But yeah, that book is absolute garbage, really. I mean, like I said, it wasn't on my.
How would you know? You only went through one voice.
Yeah, I know, my own. And apparently that's racist and very one-sided voice. But no, I didn't even bother finish reading it. It was just awful, the first couple pages. So, but I said that David Mack cover is awesome. I mean, but is it worth $5? No, I wouldn't be paying $5 for that.
What kills me about that? There is so much lore that you can pull from Native American, given tribe to tribe, and this wouldn't be unusual. We do this with religion, Greek, Roman mythology, like we do it with all the white man stuff. There is so much stuff that you could pull from the Native American stuff that they can involve themselves in that would be just epically good story. Like the whole werewolf thing, right? Native Americans have a story about that.
Skinwalkers.
Yeah, you could do so much with that, but instead it's like, fight the patriarchy, fight this, fight that. They have their own rich history that you can pull from and make great stories from. Instead, you're just trying to make them sound like everybody hates each other today. Like, I literally on my Facebook page have a picture of me and my Native American friend who is legit from a reservation. We called him Chief. People would call this racist today. Me and him, he was my spotter as me as the marksman. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? He'll tell you the res sucks. Nobody wants to live on the res. Get an education, get off the res, join the military, whatever, get off the res. And I'm just like, and he would tell me like some of his tribal history and stories and stuff. And I'm just like, why isn't somebody writing a comic book about this stuff? Like, it's some good stuff.
Jackie says, I wouldn't pay $5 for all of David Mack's covers. I don't know if it's kind of a partial statement. I don't know if he's wants to, but wouldn't pay $5 for that. I don't know if that's what he's trying to say. Let's move on to one more Marvel. So we're at, half an hour in. We've only got to 3 books, man. We've had a lot of talking to do.
I'm sorry. It's Mike's turn.
It's Mike's turn. Well, no, I just had Indigenous Voices. You're up. What do you got for us?
No, let Mike throw one out there. He's got a good review.
Mike, throw one out there.
I only read. No, that's a lie. But I don't like that book. So we'll talk about the book I somewhat do like, Venom number 30. And this is speaking about the King in Black. Did you guys see this cover?
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
You need to go on Instagram. But
I'm sorry, what book is that again?
It's Empire's End. I forgot who did this cover, but got it through KRS.
Huh.
But anyway.
Isn't that a second print?
Who?
Never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did you guys talk Immortal Hulk yet? No, we did not talk Immortal Hulk yet. Venom number 30. I'm glad this story is wrapping up because it got kind of stupid. Basically, Otto Octavius informs Codex that he has discovered interdimensional travel. Reed Richards tells his freaking team, Venom's team, the same thing. There's some touching moments with Dylan and his dead mom. Well, he's dead. She's dead on his planet. So blah blah blah, whatever. But then it's just all action. Venom's team versus Codex, plus the Avengers. Scorpion gets his armor back. The interesting thing is they set up this Venom wins and the good guys win, and they end up setting up this interdimensional whatever travel, but it takes a whole year to build. So now we're a year later. Eddie Brock's got long hair. Venom and Dylan finally get to go back to their time, and they get there, and there's no stars in the sky. I guess the King in Black is already here, or he's already decimated the world. So I don't know. So, but I liked it. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're moving on to the King in Black. So yeah, stashing it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when Doc Ock was able to figure out the armor. He said, "Oh, I can have it up in 2 weeks. We'll have this going. We're ready to rock." And then Reed Richards was like, "Oh, I figured out how to do it. How long did it take? 4 or 5 years." Yeah. He's just totally off the chart on the opposite end of how quick. I mean, his mind's totally gone. Like his eyes are totally the opposite direction and shit. That's pretty funny. We do find a little bit more about Dylan's powers because his mom from that dimension was all worried about him touching her because of what he would do to the symbiotes. But
yeah,
that's a porn channel that Mike looked up before. Look at the Popeye up there, and then we get this whole break between there's Dylan and each Dylan from each universe end up touching their hands and end up having some kind of break, and where they realize, or he gives them kind of the history of what it would be like to be from a loving family, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And it kind of breaks the whole cycle on there. Now Dylan's from that new dimension is back to normal. And yeah, we do have a kind of a touching moment to where Eddie and his wife kind of want to stay together, but they both kind of know that they're from opposite dimensions, and there are certain things holding them at different places, so then that relationship can't blossom any further.
I think both start dating different men.
Both start dating different men, yes. I don't know. The end of this was kind of like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of a cheap ending. It's like, oh, okay, let's just go. Let's just do this. Let's just touch hands and make you realize how good life could be, and the story's over. Ba ba ba. And so I'm just like, man, I wanted a little bit more to that, I think. But I mean, I'm still going to pick up Venom. It's still good. And now we're going into the King in Black stuff, so it has more better issues than it does worse issues. That's for sure. So it's
Did
still
you
one
just
I'm
say
picking up.
more better issues?
It has more issues that are good than there are bad. How about that?
Nice.
More better, more better, more harder, more better.
More better, more bad.
Yeah. More better. That's my college education seeping through.
You know what else is seeping through?
Oh no, I don't want to talk about that, Mike.
You're talking about your spider heads.
I could put an M&M in there.
Gross. Joe, what do you think of Venom 30?
I didn't pick it up.
What? You didn't pick up Venom number 30?
I know. I failed all of you, and I apologize.
Well, then, if you didn't pick up Venom 30, why don't you talk about Immortal Hulk? Because they're asking about that.
I don't know if y'all want me to talk about Immortal Hulk.
No, have at it. Talk about Immortal Hulk.
What Legion of Comics does.
Legion of Comics wants to know what you thought of Immortal Hulk.
Man, it's Marvel heavy this month. Let's roll through this real quick.
We're gonna go to DC next.
So I did a Scotty Young cover because my wife collects Scotty Youngs. So every now and then I got to sacrifice to justify my comic book bill. Right? Okay, so first thing you should know, if you're new to this show or new to knowing me in any way, I don't like the whole mind jumping ta-da moments in comic books because I think they're cheap narratively. I don't find them very interesting because then there's no limits to what you can do. With that said, in this comic book, Hulk gets captured. Hulk turns into Joe Fixit because some general didn't realize it because mind games. Doc Samson's back because mind games. He's Sasquatch. Mind games. For some reason, generic Alpha Flight that turned into Gamma Flight's in here. Why? Not because of man games or mind games, but because of, we got to stick them in here because we're going to have an event here with them soon. That's going to be a thing. We know that from Empire. That got crammed on us. All right, fine. I just didn't find it, the fall to Earth thing and then, turning back into Joe Fixit again. And then the only thing I thought was cool is I always liked Hulk and the Thing fight. I've always liked that. I don't know why. It always seems like the most equal thing you could ever possibly put into a comic book. Hard as stone, rage and anger, right? And there's a whole metaphor there too. We're not going to get too deep into it. But I've always find that very, very interesting. But other than that, I found this run with the leader jumping in and out of the mind thing and the whole green door just being a doorway into other people's minds. I'm starting to lose interest in this. I'm kind of just interested on how they're going to turn it up. But they always have this, and this is the genius of the writing of it. So I know I talked some junk about it. I'll give it a compliment. The person that wrote these comic books understands comic book people. That sometimes you got to write that Whiskey Dick issue or even have that Whiskey Dick run. I get that. But this person knows how to keep you just enough entranced into it, and they'll throw something in there that true comic book people really like a good clobbering time with the Thing and the Immortal Hulk, or just enough of a twist ending where we're going to make Betty Ross back into a Beast character, which will eventually come back to us in some way, shape, or form because she ran away. If you forgot about that, I guarantee that's going to happen within the next issue or two because it's about that time. So the person who wrote this is smart because they know how to put certain comic book things in there that real comic book people really like to read about. And it's just enough to keep you hanging on. But the main story to me, again, I don't care about the Gamma Flight. It's basically just Alpha Flight that nobody cared about, but we're going to put them in space and try to make them cool. It's not working for me. And then we're constantly reminded that they were Alpha Flight throughout the story. And it's like, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Like, I'm sorry.
You bored, Mike.
So, yeah,
No.
that's my review.
What did you read Immortal Hulk, Mike, or have you dropped it?
I dropped it a long time ago. It's about to end too in a couple issues, right?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. If that were the case, if it was going to end in a couple issues, I would continue to pick it up. But if it's going to be further ongoing past this is where I come off the Immortal Hulk train right here. I want to give to issue 30. And issue 30, yes, Joe.
Real quick, I just want to hit up the chat real quick before it gets too far gone. Mind jumping thing works well with Hulk since disassociated personality. He doesn't have disassociated personality disorder. He actually has a acute split personality disorder, and I want to make sure I separate those two things. First off, super cool you threw that in there. Legion of Comics, super cool, but it's acute at this point because it definitely changes his physique and body at the same time, and that would be the ultimate when it changes your. So I kind of have a background. I kind of want to hit that up real quick. Kind of works with the narrative. I'll agree with that as well. Gamma Flight has been around the whole time since this series. Yes, this series they've kind of always been in the background, kind of in and out. But the truth is, it's Alpha Flight. Hulk versus Thing, always iconic. Double S jumps in with, gotta agree with Joe, Immortal Hulk. My thoughts as well. Definitely have your own thoughts. Top notch. His books only find them when they're dead is fire too. I'll agree with that. But right now it just seems like he's clutching. And if anybody's reading this, if you're enjoying it, by all means, let us know. Feel free to disagree with us, definitely. Let's see here. Nice. A bunch of comments. I think it ends at 50. Runs in at 50. People are at, okay, so we kind of got 50. Let's see here. I would like Immortal Hulk to end like Cocoon Nest ended Hulk as Chef escaping. That's I got that. I actually know that. Nice. Okay. So, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
As I was saying, I've been on the verge of dropping this book for quite some time. And I think it is a little bit too much for me, this whole jumping back and forth to the personality. I didn't mind at the beginning when we had, it was a clear, okay, we're going to do Joe Fix It. Now we're going to go to Devil Hulk. But it's just too much back and forth and too much of this Green Door crap and where this mind hell and stuff is. That's just, for me, too much. I just want to see Hulk smash. It'd be great to see this next issue with Thing and Hulk fighting it out. We all want to see that. But overall, though, I'll look and see where this run's going to end. If it's a few more issues, I'll pick up the last few. If not, I'm dropping it after this week. So, I've only got one more Marvel book, but shoot, we've already 43 minutes. So we better talk about some DC books.
And Independence at the same time.
Yeah, I know, man. We had a long chit chat at the beginning about what we've been doing. I'm going to talk about this DC book. I picked it up mainly for the cover, just because, but I did read it, and it is Looney Tunes number 257.
Oh.
No. And anytime Bugs Bunny's dressed up as George Washington and he's headed across the Delaware, dude, that is an awesome book.
I didn't even see that. Is that a new comic book?
It's a new comic book. Yep.
Wow.
He's got a Sylvester there. So I had to read it. I had to read because my comic store requested
Batman.
it. Huh?
He's dressed as Batman.
Oh, really?
That's America too.
So my comic book store, the Rogue City Comics, he saw this on my list, I ordered it. He had actually had to order a couple more for his store. He loved it that much too. He says, "Now you've got to talk about it on the show. You have to for sure." So I read through it. There's quite a few different short stories, and I love it when, especially a cartoon character like this, is in historical pieces of work. where he's meaning to go to where did you say? Is he trying to go to? Is he? He's trying to go to Hawaii. He ends up in Valley Forge.
Albuquerque. Oh,
He does say Albert. He does say.
Albuquerque. It's always been.
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. That's what he said. But so he's supposed to go to Hawaii. He ends up at Valley Forge. He pops up. He sees George Washington there, standing all stoic, and he goes up and starts talking to him. And he says, "Yes, you've come to volunteer." And he says, "Yes." So he's up volunteering, but George Washington knows that there's somebody, a spy in his ranks, and so Bugs Bunny's in charge of figuring out who the spy is. And of course, it is Elmer Fudd, and he calls in he's the Benedict Arnold, General Benedict Elmer is what he is. So he ended up flushing the spy out, and he runs off. Of course, he has typical comic book fashion. He has British underwear on. That's how they know he's the spy, right?
We got you.
And then there's Daffy Duck with the Paul Revere's ride. There's the airplane, and there's also some other cool stuff with the Trojan horse, Porky Pig and Daffy Duck and the Trojan horse. The Cyclops. You read it every year, Joe. The Quest, Odyssey. And of course, you know that big redneck dude that's in Bugs Bunny cartoons. He plays he's the Cyclops in this story here. So overall, this was, not a comic I normally pick up. I picked it up just for the cover, but I liked it how they plug these characters into other stories, and shut up, Double A. But this was actually a pretty fun read. I'm a big fan of Bugs Bunny. Loved him growing up. I remember that was like the cartoon that was coming on 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings. I always watch, and I love it when he pops into his historical stories and stuff like that. So this is definitely a stash for me. The cover and the articles are great.
I love that cover. Anything Americana, I definitely like. That is, my comic book store did not pick those up, so I do not have one. So that makes me a little sad.
That might go up on my wall. Like I have my Mad magazine, the superhero covers. I might get that in some nice Martha now to go on my wall. It's just
you get a cover. That would be cool.
Okay, Mikey, what DC?
DC?
Mikey.
DC?
Yeah, don't tell us you read the articles.
I didn't take notes on any of these.
So. Oh no, neither do I. Never do. I just see it in my hand.
No, I have to take notes because I got off late tonight. So, Batman 103. More stuff with the Ghostmaker. We get Clown Hunter thrown in this book, going after Harley Quinn, which probably is the best part of the book. Harley and his dialogue are funny. Kind of digging this Ghostmaker character and his plans for Gotham. Yeah, I'm stashing it. I like Ghostmaker, like Clown Hunter. That's my review. Very short and sweet. I like how Batman was at the end. He's like, "Well, you might have took care of this, or you say you took care of this, but I already did this." You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys read it.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So Batman was always one step ahead of Ghostmaker. So we'll see.
Legion of Comics said 103 was a letdown. I felt deflated after reading it. Only once Bruce talked about beating his ass numerous times right before he gets his ass kicked. Lame. What about you, Joe? What did you think of Batman?
I like this, but I like this for very different reasons. This is definitely a stash for me. Very rarely do we get a very in-your-face view. And again, this is kind of what I like to talk about. So I'm going to take a second on this one. This book is. I know you heard you. I know you watched my show, buddy. You gave it a thumbs up. But here we go.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm taking it back.
This is an example of utilitarianism versus deontology. So let's go ahead and throw both covers up. This is the cover I got, of course, because it's a 1 in 25, and that's my stake, right? So we got Ghostmaker and we got Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a utilitarian. Huh? You all right, buddy?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is a utilitarian. He doesn't believe that the ends just a mean in this. Now, that's not to say that that hasn't always been the way with Batman. The great thing about Batman is you can shift his character however you want throughout the narrative. Personality and philosophy are two different things. So I just want to throw that out there real quick before somebody starts beating me up about what he did in some random issue 20 years ago. So that's not the case here. In this case, in this storyline, utilitarianism, Kantiism, or I say Kantiism, but it's deontology. So Ghostmaker is a deontology. Ends justify the means. He is fighting. He doesn't have a broader picture. He's just trying to solve an immediate problem. Whereas Bruce Wayne or Batman is trying to solve a much wider problem by letting certain things happen to trap a net. Think of it in that construct for a second. And what you'll find here is we're all, both of these at any given time on any given day. You're just dealing with different personalities of oneself. In other words, these are the same character, which is really cool. And I like that. Super smart. So, yeah, this is a stash for me. I love the way this ran. And the whole Harley Quinn and Ghost Hunter thing, that's just pure enjoyment. There's nothing deep about that. That was just awesome.
Oh, the Clown Hunter and Harley?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I want to know, how the hell does Ghostmaker fight in them MC Hammer pants?
Right? Because he's too legit.
He's too legit to quit. Hey, hey, too legit. You know, I found at the beginning of the book when Bruce is in the middle of the desert and Ghostmaker comes up and is saying, "Hey, what are you doing? I came here to, fight you and beat you again, blah, blah, blah." And Bruce is saying, "Not tonight. This is the night my parents died." So, and then Ghostmaker's saying, "That's what makes you horrible. I mean, that makes you weak, blah, blah, blah." And we get that all throughout our life, where different people deal with trauma and stuff in different ways, right? Just because this is what fits for you doesn't mean that's the same thing that's going to fit for other people. Just like he's saying, him remembering his parents and wanting to take a time to remember his parents makes him weak, when that's probably what makes him strong. So I mean, that's the thing about it. So
real quick in the chat, not to cut you off, or I'm sorry, are you done? I thought you paused.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want you to fire me.
No, go ahead.
Okay, real quick. I wanted to hit up the chat real quick. One of the questions out there from Legion is, how did Clown Hunter get into her room? He jumped through the window. He was on a higher building and he jumped. He did the superhero angle jump thing, and they fought. Let's see here. And Lucius Fox. This is how you know Lucius Fox, or I'm sorry, this is how you know Double S is a fan of the show, because I mentioned this before, and he's on it. He's right there with me. And Lucius Fox still bragging about having Bruce Wayne's money, and he hasn't been audited by the IRS yet. That's why we love you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good story. I know that Legion said that he liked the last artist better as well. I think March's art's okay. There's definitely some weird stuff in here. I don't see how Batman's surviving with two swords, penetrating both his lungs and all that crap, toward the end of the book. He does get his ass kicked pretty good. And it amazes me how much damage he could take and still survive. And of course, it's a comic book. I mean, what do you expect?
Always been a thing with him.
I know, but it's like it shows him with two freaking swords buried deep in his back. Well, there's right lung, and there's his spleen or his kidney or whatever, So he definitely. But overall, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm still going to continue to pick up Batman, though. So
yeah, good stuff. It was fun. So real quick, just to chat, and then Mike's going to tell us about another great comic book he read.
Yeah.
She was at the window. She was talking to her plant. Yeah, she was self-analyzing herself. By the way, what she said in there is actually okay. I know people believe that, like only crazy people talk to themselves. That's not actually a thing. So I'm glad he kind of brought that up, because actually talking things out, if it sounds crazy when you say it out loud, guess what? It's fucking crazy. Don't do it. Good point. And then he showed up behind her. So when I said he jumped sideways, he could have jumped sideways into the. We know that from his angle, he was aiming a gun down to her. So when I say he jumped down and maybe hit the window, that's maybe he could have, I don't know, hit the floor and came around through the door. Again, that's just a narrative plot.
From the angle of the dangle, it looked like he came through the window.
Yeah, whatever that is. But yeah, I do love the fact that Harley Quinn did bring up an interesting fact. And I didn't know this either. Teenagers stink. Like that. Like Huey, you have teenagers in the house.
Yeah. Well, you had a teenager at one time too, didn't you?
Yeah, but I was busy, gone, doing things all the time.
Yeah, don't go in my son's room. He's 18.
Yeah, right. And mine was a daughter, so she had perfume and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that was funny in there, and I never realized it either. Until at our American Legion post, we had some teenagers up there, and I was like, "Oh wow, you stink." So you see, even comic books bring out true life.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you want to talk about an indie book?
An indie book?
Yeah. Do you have any indies this week?
I have a couple indies. One of them's my pick of the week.
Okay, have at it. Give us your pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Recount. Do you guys read this?
I didn't get it. My comic book store didn't have it. I really wanted it.
This book is awesome. So the president, during his impeachment speech, I forget if they mentioned what he did wrong to step down from the presidency, but he's assassinated, and the new president takes his place, and it's a female, and she is just she gives no fuck. She's telling her cabinet members, "Shut the fuck up. You're gonna do it this." She's awesome. Well, this whole terrorist organization, who set up the president's assassination, is not only gonna target him. He's gonna target anyone. They're gonna target anyone who supported him, anyone who voted for him. And they have all these records, and I don't know. I just found this book pretty amazing. So that's my pick of the week. Recount.
Pick of the week.
Yeah, I would say this is my pick of the week as well. I mean, really? I was really looking forward to this book. It's kind of topical. I mean, of course, we haven't had an assassination going on, but the president did get impeached. Like he said, he didn't go into what he was crying. He said, I pled guilty to the crimes I was impeached for. It didn't go into what those crimes were. And then as he's doing that, he gets assassinated by his Secret Service member, and which in turn gets killed by another Secret Service member, and they could compare that to you Jack Ruby'd him before we even got a chance to question him. They talk about that. So they really had no clue to why he assassinated the president, and we're going into that. And so they question that other Secret Service agent, and the vice president who's taken over as president is down in a bunker somewhere. She's wanting to address the people, and people are saying, no, we need to keep you hidden. And then when she finally does get to address the people, and I call them anonymous. It's pretty much like that. They were in masks. They were going on, we know who you are. We know this is why we killed this guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was an accident. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right in the middle of my thing.
I'm so sorry.
Where was I?
Right in the middle of it all, they had the mask on.
Yes. So she's giving a speech to the people. They take over the radio or the TV waves, and they're going on there essentially saying, we know who the people are who's backed him, by doing that. We know how you voted. We watch your social media. You've already deleted it. We've got that already saved. We know who you are. We're coming after you. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, what an awesome freaking book. Now,
getting a little close to home with what people have been saying lately.
It is. Now, they never say whether the candidates were Republican or Democrat. They never go into the politics of the candidates or the political people at all.
They don't
I
have
mean-
to. That's left up to the reader. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you go the impeachment route, you could be thinking Donald Trump. Or if you go with the potential new administration, we don't know what's going on with that yet. With the female vice president, it could be Biden Harris. I mean, if they want to play it that way, I don't know. I don't know when this book was written.
See,
Maybe it was written a year ago before a lot of stuff came about.
Yeah, I don't get into politics
Yeah.
or religion, and I just read it like a comic. I didn't even think of it. I mean, obviously I thought of that stuff, but that didn't even matter to this book. I mean, and you got to think about when they said, we looked at your social media, and you guys know that Facebook. You go on Facebook. Did you vote today?
Well, no,
yeah.
Registered.
it actually got worse in the Senate hearing today with
Yeah.
the whole look. There's other YouTube stuff about it, but some things went down today in the Senate court with Mike Zuckerberg, CEO, and Twitter and CEO, and come to find out, guess what? They all run the same algorithm together to talk to each other to learn things. So something we already knew, but apparently politicians are just catching up.
And there were a couple other twists that are in here we didn't talk about, and I'll leave those twists up there or out there for people that still want to pick up the book and read it, because I think those are important twists to the story as well. But I think we gave enough to hopefully get people hooked on. Like Double S saying, "Well, recount. I need to pick that up. Wrecked him, damn near killed him." That's what he says.
Mikey, can you give me a copy of that?
I could try. I don't know if he has any left.
Okay, if he does, that'd be cool.
We used to have a police chief
I know
named Chief Rector, and I used to call Rector damn near killed her all the time. Independent book. So, and I thought, oh man, Scout. That's who the publisher was. Scout is killing it. That was the first Scout book I read this week, and I'm like, oh my god, they have more Scout books. Oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to those. Those are going to be good, and both of the other ones were a total letdown. Dude,
Really?
Frank on the Farm. Did you read Frank on the Farm?
Yes.
Oh, you Joe, you didn't even read this. This is
No.
World War I PTSD. Even before it was known as PTSD. This is what this guy had. He comes home, and what was it called back? It was like war fatigue or something.
Shell shock.
Shell shock, yeah. So they had different names throughout time. But he comes home and he's trying to find his family. He's been away at war, and his family's just totally disappeared. Like nobody even knows who his family is. And he's going back to the house. He's staying there. He's having all these visions of animals eating his intestines and stuff like that. It's a crazy, crazy book. Yeah, there were 3 Scout books this week. I was looking forward to this one just because I was so hyped on Recount. I thought, oh, this is going to be even better. I know it. And it was a total letdown for me, unfortunately. But, Mike, what did you think of Frank on the Farm? At Home on the Farm.
So I took it a whole different way.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes home from the war, can't find his parents. He's all jacked up. But the animals, what'd you get off the animals?
They were eating his intestines. They're wanting to eat him.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be like Animal. You guys read Animal Farm?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is gonna be like Animal Farm. Just the animals are fucking evil. That's what I took.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds cool. I would
But
read
I'm stashing it. I liked it just in hopes that it will go in that direction.
Mhm.
So.
What about you, Joe? What independence you read?
I want to talk about a weird one. So I broke out the clay pipe and the glasses.
Oh, I mean, talk about CSROs, are you?
No. We're going to talk about some sophistication.
Oh, no.
We're going to talk about Dark Interlude.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a nap.
You have
Did
no
you
place for
read this?
sophistication
Mikey,
here.
you
I have
actually
it.
wrote this. Oh, did you read it?
I didn't read it yet.
All right. Mikey would like this because this entire book is for douchebags. Or I'm sorry, it makes fun of douchebags like me.
Oh, pick of the week. I haven't even read it yet.
And also a lot of us that generally tried to find some sort of meaning in this. And to be honest, we should be poked fun at every now and then as well. So basically what we have here is plagiarism. When you read this, you're generally going to think that there is legitimately another comic book out there that's related to this. I've done my research. There is not. This is a satirical, fourth wall breaking, postmodernism narrative of comic book readers, especially in the fantasy genre. I'm not even kidding you. This book is so smartly written that even when you know it's making fun of you, you still enjoy it. I'm not going to say it's my stash of the week because it insulted me, but I will say this: it is the most interesting thing I've read all year long. Like, it legitimately was just fascinating to read it, and the story in it, this medieval story, is so benign it doesn't even freaking matter. I've never read a comic book where the narrative has engrossed me so bad that I absolutely enjoy it. The secondary story in it, I'm enjoying that too. And then the third kind of, hey, this is what my comic book story is about. Like, this medieval blah 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 storytellers can save the world bullshit, right? It kind of throws all that in there too, and the entire thing is self-aware. So it's like Don Quixote on top of it. Look, if you thought Deadpool was revolutionary for breaking the fourth wall, right? If you thought that was something that was just epically awesome, I challenge you to read this. Once you read it, you'll be like, holy shit. Mike, you need to read this, because all you're going to say is like, Joey's in the insane asylum, because it's so good. So good. So good. So good and so smart.
Mikey likes it.
So smart.
Oh man, what happened to the time? It's over an hour long, and I feel like there's like a crap ton more books to go over.
Hey, if they're here, we're here. Let's do this. I got plenty.
Daddy's got to go to bed.
Oh, never mind. Lightning round it is.
I guess it is lightning round. I'll start, I guess. Sea of Sorrows. Deep sea divers trying to find gold in an old Nazi sub, and they run into some monstrous mermaids down in there. Sirens, whatever. Are they topless, Mike?
They are topless.
Oh yeah, topless sirens. It was okay.
The art in that book, it was real dark.
Yeah, it was. Children of the Grave, the other Scout comic book this week. I was kind of looking forward to this too. Read through it. It's about somebody kind of being self-aware. I mean, the people don't really know how they got to this town, how they were born. There's kind of like really freaking weird. And one kid he's actually like maybe like early 20s, decide, you know what, screw this place. I'm leaving town. I'm going to find out what's really going on. A lot of religious overtones in there. They control a lot of what's going on. And then toward the end of the book, he finds this lady in the street, ends up running in there. It looks like maybe it's her heart or something falling out of what it is. It kind of scares him. But it looks like maybe it's her uterus. I don't know. That's a funky ass. I don't know what the hell that is. I had to show my wife that.
Figure that one out.
He has a spider AIDS.
He has a spider AIDS. Is that what it is? So Children of the Grave, blast for me. We Live number 2. I picked up the 1 and 10. I think that's the only one they had left. I'm not sure if they had just a regular copy. Merman, Papa, a merman.
There's no merman because Huey didn't write the book.
You know, where the merman's opposite, like it's like fish top, man bottom.
Yeah. Angle the dangle hanging out there. You know, that's how he lures other fish in by dangling his little meat down.
But you've thought about this.
I have. I put a lot of thought into this. We Live number 2. The first one was really good. This one was kind of interesting too. There's a death in this book that was totally shocking to me. I was like, well, that character's dead now. At the end of the last issue, they getting confronted by that lion thing in the middle of the jungle. And then the old guy is trying to get it into trance and trying to make it go away. One guy walks up, just blasted in the head and shoots it a few times. They get the blood all over the people. He says, "You idiot. These things can track for over 100 miles of blood, and now they're going to be pissed and they're going to be coming after us." And so there's a pretty significant death in here. Well, it's kind of like, whoa, shit. So this is definitely a stash for him. I could pick this up.
What book was that?
We Live number 2.
Oh,
Where they're trying to get the kids off the planet.
yeah.
They got this special bracelet.
Yeah, my comic book shop dropped that.
Amazing Spider-Man number 53. Kind of a boring issue. We get the reveal, of course, of who. What's his name? Yeah, again. We get it again.
Well, actually, it's a different review, and don't spoil it because I'm going to bash the shit out of that one.
Okay. Well, this was kind of a boring issue. I mean, I picked up Spider-Man again like 4 or 5 issues ago because I thought it was okay. This is interesting. I picked up number 50 is what it was, so it was 3 issues ago, and so this is kind of a letdown. You know, it's kind of like whatever. A lot more like psychological kind of crap going on versus just wall crawling stuff. Dark Knight's Death Metal 5. Trying to remember what happened to this book. Apparently not a whole lot. Last issue of Teen Titans. They're going to now team up with the regular Titans, Nightwing and all that stuff. Robin's still a little longer to be found. So last issue of Teen Titans. I don't know. It's a stash just because it completes the run for me. Walking Dead Deluxe number 3, of course, is just a reprint of the Walking Dead comics in color. And I just picked these up because I have issues 99 through the end, all in single issues, and I'm just picking these up just to complete that whole run, so I have them all in floppies. So, and then there's 4 of the books that were given to me. One of my hosts of where I work at, he's an older guy. He had a whole bunch of comics. I gave him some new. They were all in totes, just laying flat in totes. Some of them were in bags, nothing like that. So I said, "Dude, you need some bags and boards." So I went and bought him some bags and boards, and I bought him a couple of short boxes to put stuff in. He had probably about 400 books. And so he had some doubles of some of the books. So he ended up giving me some doubles. He said, "What do I owe you for the boxes and stuff?" I said, "Nah, don't worry about it. I guess you got some doubles in there. We'll work something out." And so he gave me some of the doubles. He's still going through them. Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man number 15.
Wow.
Amazing Spider-Man 269. Amazing Spider-Man 260 and 259. And so when I was going through his books with him, he had the first Hobgoblin with the tattoos intact.
Does he know what he has?
He knows what he has. I told him. I said, "Man, that's a pretty big key book right there. That's at least $200 or $300 book, if not more." But he says he's looking to maybe sell some of the stuff too, so I might be able to pick up some more stuff from him.
Well, hey, tell him old Pumpkin Joe over here buys comic books.
I'm a West Coast guy. He's a West Coast guy. You're East Coast. You stick to your own little circle.
Yeah, but I'm cooler than you.
Yeah. Okay. Since you're so cool, we should just go with Mike then for lightning round.
All right, Dave, you already talked about Sea of Sorrows. I love my nautical mythology type stuff, so the sirens being in here is pretty cool. But like I said, the art is just as dark as this cover. That kind of threw me off. I think I will get issue 2 though, because I want to see where it goes.
So in the Navy, you don't call them mermaids?
They're sirens.
What's a mermaid then?
Whatever they end up with at 2:00 in the morning when the lights come on.
That fishy smell.
Justice League number 57. I guess you were supposed to read this before you read Death Metal. I read this. I'm glad this is fucking over now. And I guess we're going into the Endless Winter, another
Fucking
big event. I guess I wouldn't call it a big event because it's only going to run through.
This is the longest event I've ever sat through.
Last book I actually read was Fantastic Four 26. The only thing I'm really liking about Fantastic Four right now is the Thing and his family stuff. Other than that, I could care less. I do have Teen Titans number 47 to read. Walking Dead Deluxe. Amazing Spider-Man 53. Nightwing number 76. Death Metal number 5, which I'm kind of over this whole Death Metal shit. And I guess we got a bunch of one-shots coming again.
Oh, we got a ton of one-shots coming.
Something is Killing the Children, number 12.
Ooh.
Joey's book, Dark Interlude, and Children of the Grave.
You need to read that Dark Interlude. You would love that.
I think I'm going to take a Dark Interlude when I get off here.
Fair enough. All right, let me write down some books for you wonderful weirdos out there. So I read Rorschach number 2. This is a slow burn, but it's a detective story, and that's the whole point of a detective story. I'm trouble talking. What we find out is our Rorschach impersonator in here is, in fact, a comic book artist and wrote a comic book that kind of looks like a cross between The Question and Rorschach in it. I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. So I'll keep picking this up. I love a good detective story. Justice League Dark, absolutely worthless. Justice League Metal justifies why the last book happened, and I was still able to get one of my band covers. This is Aquaman in a cover band. He plays the keyboards in it, just like Aquaman. Nobody cares about the keyboard. But in this, we find out that all of a sudden, randomly, the one who laughs and Perpetua have randomly stopped fighting all of a sudden. Like that was never addressed why they stopped fighting, and apparently they're going to go back at it again. This is incoherent at best at this point. Hopefully they cleaned it up a little bit. Let's find out. Amazing Spider-Man number 53. So this is garbage. This entire run with Kindred at this issue, number 53, has just turned into a complete garbage run. I hate to say it, it ranks right up there with Sword of X. This whole Kindred thing has turned into just absolute trash. Fuck you. Fuck the guy that writes it. Fuck the artist. Fuck all of you. I hate you. And screw you and your family and generations to come, because you cheated everybody that has chased this down and spent hundreds of dollars to keep up with this. The whole thing with Kindred at this point, we knew it was Harry Osborn, but we thought maybe it was some sort of death spirituality thing. No, they did a Scooby-Doo on us where he took off the mask and went, ha ha, it was me the whole time. Fuck you. I don't even, Jesus Christ, I hate all of you right now, and I'm dropping this immediately. This is sad, and I hate you.
Wow.
I'm a little scared.
It was so bad. All right, Huey, you read it. He took off the mask. What? The moment he took off the mask, were you like, oh my God? Or were you like, fucking really?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It led up so much with so much action the past couple issues, and then just to totally die off, and then just have this for me kind of a crappy reveal. It could have been somebody cooler.
I was okay with it being an Osborn. I was like, okay, it's an Osborn, but there's some spiritual stuff. He's like ghostly or whatever. I guarantee in the next issue, we're going to find out that the centipedes are mechanical and he's got a device where he can go into people's dreams. We immediately need to go that way because that's what poor writers do that don't understand how to write a story, but they got deep into something and don't know how to finish the job. Like virgins.
Ooh.
Ooh, that was a rough one, wasn't it? Yeah. Welcome
Embryonic Jones, Temple of the Womb. See, thrill, gestate.
Moving on, though, I'm kind of enjoying this Fantastic Four. I got the one per store variant. I'm kind of digging this. I like that they came back to the whole, a young man has to deal with what he has done in the cosmos. Remember, Franklin Richards is basically a god. He's created worlds, and a lot of these people that are coming to this gate to escape something, it was the person that they showed mercy to. It's why you never show mercy to your enemies. Destroy them. But apparently that has happened here. No mercy, baby. Apparently they're all rushing to Earth. I'm actually kind of excited about a Fantastic Four story. I want to see a young person actually have to deal with their consequences at the end, minus their powers. Also, we find out he's not truly a mutant, and he's no longer welcome to Krakoa. Remember, they were kind of courting him a little bit to just come on over there. Apparently, that's not the case anymore. So now he's got to deal with rejection, his past incomes. It's a better Spider-Man story. You know how Spider-Man has to deal with a bunch of issues? Somebody's catching a hit here. This is going to be interesting. That's my spec. Captain America. Guess what? Coach still doesn't know how to write a Captain America story. Guess who it's not about? It's not about Captain America. It's about women empowerment in the 1940s, something or other. Nobody gives a shit. I picked it up because my wife really likes Scotty Young covers. So I love my wife, and I want to stay married to her, so I get her Scotty Young covers. I bribe her because marriage is not a contest like X of Swords. Something is killing children. This is interesting, but I'm starting to get annoyed with their pattern. So they have this pattern of putting in very little information in their comic book and over-stylizing it. So by the time, if this came out in a trade paperback, just between you and me, it would be the smallest trade paperback ever because there's not a lot of information. But what we do find out in this is, like we found out before, St. George organization, also known as Slaughterhouse, is going to come and basically destroy the town because they know too much. That's what you got in here. Whiskey Dick issue.
Whiskey Dick!
Last but not least, I know I take the longest, and I'm sorry. Once and Future. This is my pick of the week. I wish more people were reading this. I know it's dropped off for a lot of people because there was some weirdness and it was hard to follow. But in this, we get introduced with a very interesting character in literature history who's legitimately the first tie-in character ever. And it's the Green Knight. And the story of, so real quick, we're going to break this down as fast as I can. Real quick, in the mythology of King Arthur, several stories, and they expand all of them tremendously. But there were also tie-in stories, and they're generally done in the form of a poem. There was a poem by Gershwin that got thrown into there, and it dealt with the Green Knight. The Green Knight is the tester of men. And in this one, he is kind of a games player as well. But the argument through the literature history, if you will, all the scholars that do nothing but sit around and smoke pipes, wear glasses, and talk about literature, the argument has always been, what is the Green Knight's role in anything? And any comic book person, the moment you read it, you'll automatically know. I suggest going out and start reading Once and Future. You will automatically be one step ahead of legit scholars who don't get the narrative, and you'll be that much smarter. You're welcome for that, by the way. You can pay me later.
I'm just waiting for when the Man from Nantucket is a part of it. And you're talking about poems.
Well, remember their poems were, if you looked at a comic book and the way it reads today, it would be another 24 pages.
Yeah.
Because rhyme and verse.
Yep.
Basically, it was done as an add-on, and it's extremely interesting. So, just for the viewers out there, just Google, right, and you can literally look it up on Wikipedia because it's a very known character, the Green Knight. Just Google it, read through it, and tell me that cat doesn't sound interesting. And that's what we're getting in this story right now. It's kind of cool.
I'm Googling Green Knight.
Go ahead.
Film.
Did Mikey go to bed? Was he like, screw you guys, I'm going home?
The headstrong nephew of King Arthur.
That's one poem of them. The most mainstream, the one you're using, you want to use Wikipedia. The Tester of Men. And he literally starts the thing off like a Jigsaw movie. Do you want to play a game? It was awesome. The guy's like, shove off, Winka, or whatever they say over in that part of the world.
It's nothing but a scratch.
Shave off, Winka. And the guy's like, cuts his head off. It's so good. My pick of the week. And smart. Smart, I say.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. This was our pre-Thanksgiving issue or episode. Next Thursday will be Thanksgiving. I think we'll be back Black Friday. I think we're going to do something Black Friday.
I'm not doing anything for Black Friday. There's nothing to do on Black Friday. The Rona's got everybody shut down. We should be here for our people.
Well, I'll be here definitely. I'm working, so I'll be here next Friday. But I'll be stuffed full of Thanksgiving leftovers all day long, and do our traditional pie for breakfast type stuff. So,
turkey wing right here on the show.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bounce on an hour and a half long episode. We had a lot of talking prior to the show, but make sure you come back and check us out next Friday right here, same time, same station. Ready? Later, guys.
We love you.
Love you. Grandpa loves you.